and we do want to take just a moment to help people make sure they're in the right place. This is the NewNet Quest GoGoHub conference call, and we do want to welcome everyone who is here with us from around the country as well as around the world, and Daryl is going to take over here and begin to point us in the direction we need to be going. So, Daryl, if you'll take over, we'll get it moving.
Thanks, Ron. We'd like to welcome everyone from around the country as well as around the world, guys. It is Monday night, and tonight we're going to kick off the week by sharing some important news and give you guys some interesting updates and talk a little bit about what's going to be taking place in the future. And I'd like to start the call tonight with a bold statement, and the statement is 1 million in 1 year. We're going to talk about this a little bit throughout the call, but, you know, it helps when you've got a vision and purpose and a goal and somewhere that, you know, it's very difficult to get someplace if you don't know where you're trying to go. And 1 million in 1 year is our goal for the very first year. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, as I said, as we move along in this call. Let's give a little bit of background so we can help bring new people up to speed on where we are, who we are, what we're doing, and then we'll get back to our 1 million in 1 and show you how that can be very, very relevant and help to change the face of what's taking place on the Internet today. Folks, we've created a brand new kind of classified search site. And the reason this cannot simply be categorized as a classified ad site is because we've got features that are beyond Craigslist. And the reason we cannot be classified or categorized as a search site like Google is because that's not our intention nor ever has been. And that's a completely different business. But we meld the classified ad world with new search-type features to bring together an altogether new kind of platform. And what makes this so interesting, what makes this such an interesting time for us is when you take a look at the market as a whole. When you take a look at the market as a whole, you see on one end of the search category, Google dominates. And if you've been paying attention to the news here recently, you've seen that there's some lookalikes attempting to come along, but Google's technology is patented. And it's going to be kind of difficult for people to come along and reproduce what they do because what they do, they have a patent on. However, there's been some folks broke away from Google here recently and said they were going to start their own thing and they were going to be able to provide more of what Google provides than what Google provides. And maybe they will. Maybe they won't. Who knows? But they've got a fight ahead of them to compete on that end of the spectrum because Google did almost $19 billion in ad revenues last year alone. They are a household name. When you think about go search for something, their name is synonymous with search. So, you know, they can have at that end of the battle. However, when you look at the other end of the spectrum and you see Craigslist and, I could name several other sites, half a dozen additional classified ad sites. There's no reason to publicize them on this call because most of the people on this call probably cannot name 3. Now, here is the interesting thing about that end of the marketplace as far as where we fit into this whole puzzle. You guys may not realize this, but according to some estimates, classified ad market is a $100 billion a year market right now worldwide and is growing every single year, even though the marketplace is segmented, meaning, you know, the biggest name that we know of is Craigslist. And as Ron pointed out, there were a lot of folks that probably didn't even know that name until we brought that name to the call so many times. So when you look at the classified ad side of things, you see a marketplace that's bursting at the seams and a marketplace that doesn't have a leader. In other words, there is no Amazon, you know, there is no eBay, you know what I mean, which means auction, or There is no name that is synonymous with classifieds the way Google is with search, the way eBay is with bidding and buying, and the way other names on the internet, YouTube, for example, with video. And that's what we are looking to bring to this marketplace. Leadership in a market that's growing without a leader, really. And we're looking to put ourselves in a place to be able to say that's the place you go when you want to post a classified ad. Guys, let me talk a little bit about what people have been doing up until now. Up until now, newspaper ads, penny savers, thrifty nickels, bulletin boards, and all sorts of classified ad sites as well have been used for people to let people know about their things. There's a whole host of sites that you could look at that kind of fall into this category of classifieds, people posting things, and people post all kinds of things. People post wanting to sell a couch or needing to find a roommate or wanting to sell a house or a car or looking for a date. All kinds of things can fall into the category of classified listings. As a matter of fact, when you look at you back up and you look at the industry before these websites came on board, and what you find is a newspaper industry that was pretty united as far as what they did. They charged people per line to post classified ads, and the business was going just fine until websites like Craigslist came along and some of the others that allow people to post things free. And if you've ever been to Craigslist, you can post all kinds of things. You can find all kinds of things there. Like I said, everything from a date to a new couch. So it's a very, very interesting place, and they have put a squeeze on the newspaper industry. Kind of difficult for the newspaper industry to charge people for running an ad when sites like Craigslist are letting people post those things free. So along comes, as Ron has announced, GoGoHub. And we are running under the moniker of NewNet Quest, and we will continue to do that until September 1. And we'll talk a little bit about September 1 and its importance here in just a moment as well. But we're going to continue to do that, run under the moniker of Quest until September 1. And at that time, we're going to be officially unveiling the curtain and letting you guys get a hand on this new technology and see what this thing can do. So, until then, we will continue to run in the direction that we're running in at the moment. However, we're going to talk a little bit about these packages here in just a sec and talk about what's going to be taking place with them. There's a lot that's going on that we need to discuss, but what we want to do, guys, is we want to come along and move this industry beyond Craigslist. Craigslist moved the industry beyond newspapers. We now want to leap into the industry and move it beyond Craigslist. So here's what we're doing. Not only from a functional perspective are we differentiated better than Craigslist, and you'll see that when you see the site. We've talked briefly on some of these calls about some of the things that we can do as far as subcategories, but you won't grasp the full meaning and the power of what that means until you see it, believe me. I've seen it, had a chance to play around with it, had a chance to perform searches like for dogs, and you can select what color, what breed, large or small, what age group, male or female. It's an amazing technology to be able to break down these categories into subcategories, and even the mighty Google doesn't do that. As a matter of fact, once you get a chance to experience this technology that we're going to be using here, you're going to find Google to be a disorganized place. That's what has happened to me. Once I search for things on the NewNet Quest site and come up with search results and the way these things are subcategorized, when I go back to Google, it's just like, wow. Mustang, for example, history, horses, jackets, racing, insurance. I mean, you get so many different things. It's just not really relevant to what you're looking for. However, we're going to show the world how to break that down and bring it into things that are very relevant to what you're searching for. So we've got them beat in that area, the leaders. But the other thing we are doing that gives us the ability to reach our goals of 1 million in 1 year, is we are going to say to people, if you simply post an ad here, simply post a free, let me make certain people understand that, simply post a free classified ad here. You sign up,